Good morning, students. I hope you all have watched the previous videos of this chapter. Now let us move further. Children, the period after the 13th century saw a new wave of the Bhakti movement in North India. This was an age when Islam, Brahminical Hinduism, Sufism, various strands of Bhakti, and the Nathpanthis, Siddhas, and Yogis influenced one another. Also, in this time, new towns and kingdoms were emerging, and people were taking up new professions and finding new roles for themselves. Such people, especially craftspersons, peasants, traders, and laborers, made a huge crowd to listen to these new saints and spread their ideas. Some of them, like Kabir and Baba Guru Nanak, rejected all orthodox religions. Others, like Tulsidas and Surdas, accepted existing beliefs and practices but wanted to make these accessible to all. Tulsidas thought of God in the form of Rama. Tulsidas' composition, the Ramcharitmanas, written in Awadhi, was an expression of his devotion and as a literary work. Surdas was an ardent devotee of Krishna. His compositions, compiled in Sursagar, Sursaravli, and Sahitya Lahari, express his devotion. Moreover, a famous devotee was Shankradeva of Assam, who emphasized devotion to Vishnu and composed poems and plays in Assamese. He began the practice of setting up namghars or houses of recitation and prayer, a practice that continues to date. This tradition also included saints like Dadu Dayal, Ravidas, and Mirabai. Mirabai was a Rajput princess married into the royal family of Mewar in the 16th century. Mirabai became a disciple of Ravidas, a saint from a caste considered untouchable. She was devoted to Krishna and wrote many bhajans expressing her intense devotion. Her songs openly challenged the norms of upper castes and became popular with the masses in Rajasthan and Gujarat. A unique feature of most of the saints is that their works composed in regional languages and could be sung. They became immensely popular among people of all generations. Usually, the poorest, most deprived communities and women transmitted these songs, often adding their own experiences. Thus, the songs as we have them today are as much a creation of the saints as of generations of people who sing them. They have become a part of our living popular culture. Now let us study about Kabir. Kabir, who probably lived in the 15th 16th centuries, was one of the most influential saints. He was brought up in a family of Muslim chulahas or weavers settled in or near the city of Varanasi. We get to know of his ideas from a vast collection of verses called Sakhis and Pads, said to have been composed by him and sung by wandering bhajan singers. Some of these were later collected and preserved in the Guru Granth Sahib, Panchvani, and Bijak. Kabir's teachings were based on a complete and strong rejection of the major religious traditions like Hinduism and Islam, and the language of his poems was Hindi, which was widely understood by ordinary people. Sometimes cryptic language was also used, which was difficult to follow. Kabir believed in a formless supreme God and believed that the only path to salvation is bhakti or devotion. His followers were from both Hindus and Muslims. Now let us study about Baba Guru Nanak. He was born at Talwandi, Nankana Sahib in Pakistan. He travelled widely before establishing a centre at Kartarpur. A regular worship that consisted of the singing of his own hymns was establishing there for his followers, irrespective of their former principles, caste, or gender. His followers ate together in the common kitchen called langar. The sacred space thus created by Baba Guru Nanak was known as Dharamsal. It is now known as Gurudwara. Before his death in 1539, Baba Guru Nanak appointed one of his followers as his successor. His name was Lehna, but he came to be known as Guru Angad. Guru Angad compiled the compositions of Baba Guru Nanak, to which he added his own in a new script known as Gurmukhi. The three successors of Guru Angad also wrote under the name of Nanak, and all of their compositions were compiled by Guru Arjan in 1604. To this compilation were added the writings of other figures like Sheikh Farid, Sant Kabir, Bhagat Namdev, and Guru Tegh Bahadur. In 1706, this compilation was authenticated by Guru Tegh Bahadur's son and successor Guru Gobind Singh. It is now known as Guru Granth Sahib, the holy scripture of the Sikhs. The number of Baba Guru Nanak's followers increased through the 16th century under the successors. They belonged to a number of castes, but traders, agriculturists, artisans, and craftsmen predominated. This was to suggest that followers must be households and should adopt productive and useful occupations. They were also expected to contribute to the general funds of the community of followers. By the beginning of the 17th century, the town of Ramdaspur had developed around the central Gurudwara called Harmandir Sahib. It was virtually self-governing, and modern historians refer to the early 17th century Sikh community as a state within the state. The Mughal Emperor Jahangir looked upon them as a potential threat, and he ordered the execution of Guru Arjan in 1606. The Sikh movement began to get politicized in the 17th century, a development which culminated in the institution of Khalsa by Guru Gobind Singh in 1699. The community of the Sikhs, called the Khalsa Panth, became a political entity. The changing historical situation during the 16th and 17th centuries influenced the development of the Sikh movement. The ideas of Baba Guru Nanak had a huge impact on this development from the very beginning. He emphasized the importance of the worship of one God. He insisted that caste, creed, or gender was irrelevant for attaining liberation. His idea of liberation was not that of a noble bliss, but rather the pursuit of active life with a strong sense of social commitment. He himself used the terms Naam, Dan, and Isnan for the essence of his teaching, which actually meant right worship, welfare of others, and purity of conduct. His teachings are now remembered as Naam Japna, Kirt Karna, and Vand Chakna, which also underline the importance of right belief and worship, honest living, and helping others. Thus, Baba Guru Nanak's idea of equality had social and political implications. This might partly explain the difference between the history of the followers of Baba Guru Nanak and the history of the followers of other religious figures of the medieval centuries like Kabir, Ravidas, and Dadu, whose ideas were very similar to those of Baba Guru Nanak.